Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Amritpal Singh. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, Hezbollah fires 30 rockets in an overnight barrage into Israel. Israeli jets strike a launcher in southern Lebanon. Iron Dome activated. Thousands rally in Venezuela opposing Nicolas Maduro's poll victory claims. Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado joins protesters. Bangladesh protesters demand Sheikh Hasina's resignation, reject her offer of talks. At the Paris Olympics, Indian shuttler Lakshya Sen on the cusp of history as he faces Danish Victor Alexen in the semi-finals. As tensions continue to rise in West Asia, Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system went into action early on Sunday, intercepting a barrage of rockets fired from Lebanon into its territory. Meanwhile, US President Joe Biden expressed hope that Iran would stand down despite its threat to avenge the assassination of Hamas's leader in Tehran, as fears mounted that the Israel-Gaza conflict could escalate into a wider West Asia conflict. Haniyeh's death was one in a series of killings of senior Hamas figures as the Gaza conflict nears its 11th month, while the Hamas said it had begun a broad consultation process to choose a new leader. Seeking to bolster defenses in West Asia in response to threats from Israel's foes, the Pentagon on Friday said it would deploy additional fighter jets and Navy warships into the region in support of Israel. Israeli army has struck Hezbollah launcher in Lebanon, from which they claimed the rockets were fired overnight into northern Israel, as well as in the area of Marjaun in Lebanon. Amidst the growing tensions in West Asia, foreign governments continue to warn their citizens to leave Lebanon immediately amid fears of all-out conflict between Hezbollah and Israel. The United States and the United Kingdom issued warnings to citizens in Lebanon to leave the country immediately. The U.S. Embassy in Beirut has urged its citizens to leave Lebanon on any ticket available. Whereas giving a similar warning, UK Foreign Secretary David Lammy said that the regional situation could deteriorate rapidly. This is what some other European governments have done too, the Swedes, the French, the Polish. The recent unrest was triggered by the assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh on Wednesday and the killing of Hezbollah commander Fuad Shukr in Beirut. It's feared that the terror group Hezbollah could play a heavy role in such retaliation, which in turn could spark a serious Israeli response. And DD India's Trent Murray reports from Beirut.
Well, much of West Asia remains on knife edge this Sunday as people in this region await the response from Hezbollah, Iran and some of the other proxy groups against Israel's airstrikes, both here in Beirut earlier this week and also that assassination in Tehran of the leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, a projectile with an explosive device attached of around 7 kilograms, which is what killed him, according to the Iran Revolutionary Guard, and they are vowing to avenge that assassination. Now, what that looks like is we're still not sure, really. Certainly, we know all sides here really do possess pretty significant arsenals of rockets and missiles. Of course, Iran has previously attacked Israel back in April with around 300 cruise missiles and rockets. Now, at that time, they all were largely able to be shot down because the Americans, the British, the French assisted the Israeli Air Force in intercepting them, and we are seeing moves afoot it would appear for a similar operation to be in the works. The British Royal Air Force, we understand, has mobilised additional aircraft to Cyprus, an island just off the coast of Lebanon. The Americans also moving military assets into the region. But we understand that unlike last time, where the Iranians were through back channels telling their regional neighbours that this attack was coming, they are remaining tight-lipped right now. We understand trying to maintain the element of surprise. Hezbollah and Israel once again trading rocket fire overnight in that border region where much of their fighting has been confined to since October of last year. But the concern is that when this retaliation comes, it could attempt to go deeper into Israel, and could Israel respond by going deeper into Lebanon, including here in the Lebanese capital, Beirut. That certainly is a concern, it would appear, for many foreign governments, including the government of India, who does advise Indian nationals in Lebanon right now to make preparations to leave. A similar warning being given from the governments of France, Britain, the United States and many others, with tens of thousands of foreign nationals here trying to get a flight out. But there's not many seats as airlines continue to cancel services out of safety concerns. Trent Murray for DD India, Beirut.
At least 2 Israelis were killed and 2 others were injured on Sunday in a suspected knife attack in Tel Aviv in central Israel. The stabbings took place during the morning rush hour in the city of Holon, just outside Tel Aviv. According to Israel's ambulance service, the attacker stabbed people near a gas station and a park. The attacker was later shot by the police as shortly after the incident. Israeli Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir arrived at the scene and met with journalists. Russian authorities reported intercepting dozens of drones over several regions in Kyiv. Officials said that Ukraine has carried out attacks on a number of military targets in Russia, including an airfield and oil depots, including in Belgorod region, killing 1 woman. DD India's Dasha Chernyshova sends us this report from Moscow.
With fighting ongoing in Ukraine, Moscow reiterates its openness to the negotiated settlement of the conflict. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said talks are a preferred way of settling down this conflict. And even though Moscow doubts the legitimacy of the Ukrainian authorities, Russia says it can find those whom to negotiate with. Peskov also said that the conflict is very complex, though its roots are clear to Moscow. It says the West tried to establish what Moscow describes the concentration of anti-Russian forces by the Russian borders. Russian Foreign Ministry also said that Moscow is willing to cooperate with all parties seeking to help to resolve the conflict. But Moscow says the goals of its operation will have to be achieved one way or another, and Russian concerns should be taken into account. In the meantime, Russian Defense Ministry says its forces have captured 5 settlements in the Donetsk region over the past week. On Saturday, Russian air defense systems destroyed at least 75 Ukrainian drones in several regions, including in Belgrade, Kursk and Rostov. Russian Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Maria Zakharova also said that Ukraine's threats to blow up the Crimean Bridge may be a part of the U.S. presidential election campaign. Dasha Chernyshova reported in Moscow for DD India.
Far-right activists and anti-racism groups continue clashes in cities across the United Kingdom on Saturday following a stabbing attack at a dance class in northwest England last week, which resulted in the killing of 3 young girls, and some others were injured as well. False claims that a teenage suspect in the attack was a radical Muslim migrant intensified, and this led to tensions leading to confrontations between anti-immigration groups and the police. Despite a court order lifting the suspect's anonymity to address misinformation, unrest persists across the nation. In Stoke-on-Trent, bricks were thrown at officers. In Hull, windows of a hotel housing migrants were smashed. In Liverpool, a police officer was kicked off his motorbike. Scuffles were also reported in Belfast, Manchester and Nottingham. And renewed street violence in the British cities on Saturday left several police officers injured as they faced a fourth day of unrest following the murder of the three girls. And a shoe shop in East Coast city of Hull was set on fire amidst the violence while mounted police clashed with protesters in the southwestern city of Bristol. Authorities in Hull said that 4 people were arrested and 3 officers were injured while dealing with protests where bottles were thrown. Riots involving hundreds of anti-immigration protesters have erupted in several towns and cities in recent days after false information spread rapidly on the social media that suspect in Monday's knife attack at a dance class for children in Southport was a radical Muslim migrant, which of course was later clarified that he wasn't. Interior Minister Yvette Cooper condemned the violence and unrest in British cities following the murder of these girls. Cooper said that the government fully backed the police and that there were extra prosecutors and sufficient prison places to deal with those breaking the law.
Well, criminal violence and disorder has no place on Britain's streets. We've been clear to the police that they have our full backing in taking the strongest possible action against perpetrators, including when making sure that there are more prosecutors, there are sufficient prison places, and also that the courts stand ready, because anyone who engages in this kind of disorder needs to be clear that they will pay the price.
In Venezuela, nearly 2,000 people have been detained in connection to crimes during protests over the controversial presidential election results. During a rally in Caracas, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro pledged maximum punishment and accused the detainees of committing serious offences. Venezuela's electoral authority proclaimed that Maduro the winner of last Sunday's vote. The published election results sparked widespread allegations of fraud and the subsequent protests. Security forces cracked down on the protesters, which Maduro's government labeled as a part of an attempted US-backed coup. The presidents of Brazil, Mexico and Colombia called for Venezuela to release detailed voting tallies amid the dispute over presidential elections. Meanwhile, Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado joined the supporters protesting in the streets of Caracas. Supporters were happy to see Machado in the streets after the leader said in a Thursday op-ed for the Wall Street Journal that she is in hiding and feared for her life.
The world knows they intend to forcefully withhold the result. 6 days later, they have not handed over a single record. The period has expired and no pseudo-legal maneuver can cover up the truth. The truth is in our tallies and the fact is in our hearts.
U.S. Vice President and Democratic Party presidential nominee Kamala Harris has rejected the Trump's debate proposal. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump had proposed to debate Harris on Fox News on the 4th of September, but the Harris campaign countered that Trump was trying to back out of a debate that was already set to run on ABC. Trump proposed that the rules would be similar to the first debate with President Joe Biden, who has since dropped his re-election bid. Trump and Biden had agreed to a second debate on September 10th on ABC News, which the former president had suggested should be moved to Fox, the most popular network with his followers. And let's now take a look at what else is making news around the world. The Philippines and Germany have committed to concluding a broader defense cooperation agreement on Saturday as both the nations celebrate 70 years of their diplomatic relations. Both nations are establishing long-term relations between their armed forces. Cleanup efforts were underway in southwestern China following severe flooding, mudslides caused by heavy rainfall. Southern China's Sichuan province is facing shortages of drinking water following floods and mudslides, as the local government worked to deal with water safety issues. Fast-flowing flood waters and debris litters residential areas. Extreme heat scorches Spain as daily temperatures soar to 40 degrees Celsius, triggering orange alerts for heat wave in many regions, including capital Madrid. Spain's Ministry of Health activated a heat wave prevention plan at the beginning of summer, aiming to reduce heat-related illness and fatalities. And Mount Etna, Europe's most active volcano, erupted in a spectacular display of natural power and, of course, beauty. A massive plume of ash and smoke rose into the sky from Etna's crater over Sicily. Volcanic activity from Etna has intensified this week with vigorous explosions following a 4-year dormancy period. The rhythmic rumble of volcano awed the onlookers both near and far. And still to come on DD India Live, a new report says that domestic consumption of Indian organic products is on the rise. And rescue operations in Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand underway. Army building a footbridge in Sonprayag to speed up rescue ops.
This summer, the world turns its eyes to Paris, and DD India brings you every heartbeat, every victory, and every story. Introducing our special coverage of the Paris Olympics. Experience the passion, the drama, and the triumphs. With exclusive reports, expert analysis, and up-to-the-minute updates. Join us as we bring the spirit of the Olympics to your screens.
Get ready for the ultimate sporting extravaganza on DD India.
DD India presents Champions Day Paris. Only on DD India. Every day at 6:30 p.m. IST, 1 p.m. GMT.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Amritpal Singh. In Bangladesh, several incidents of violence were reported on Sunday as nationwide non-cooperation movement continues. Most of the shops and other private offices were closed along with educational institutions. Apart from Dhaka and its nearby districts, mass protests and violence were reported in Chittagong and Bogura. At least 2 people were killed and many others injured in Munshiganj town near Dhaka. At least 1 person was killed and 20 others injured in a clash between protesters in Maghura. The anti-discrimination students movement coordinators reiterated on Saturday for non-cooperation movement from Sunday, rejecting Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina's proposals for talks. India's Jammu and Kashmir administration has terminated the services of 6 government employees, including 5 policemen and a teacher, for their alleged involvement in anti-national activities. The terminated employees were identified as Saifuddin from Doda, Selection Grade Constable Farooq Ahmed Sheikh, Head Constable from Kupwara Khalid Hussain Shah, Selection Grade Constable from Kupwara Rahmat Shah, Constable of Kupwara Irshad Ahmed Chalku, Selection Grade Constable from Baramulla, and Nazamdeen, who's a teacher in the Education Department from Poonch. The order stated that LG J&K Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha was satisfied that after considering the facts and circumstances of the case on the basis of information available, that their activities are as such to warrant their dismissal from service. Rescue operations in the North Indian state of Uttarakhand is underway as work has started on building a foot-over bridge in the washed-out area between Sonprayag and Gaurikund. Army is also engaged in restoring the roads and building bridges to speed up rescue efforts. Indian Air Force helicopters have transported over 1 ton of load and evacuated 3 patients requiring oxygen and safely lifted 43 passengers. The Army has sent 2 sniffer dogs on the Yatra route to carry out the rescue operation. On the other hand, so far 55 people have been reported missing due to rain-related incidents. Indian Army, in close coordination with the state rescue team and civil administration, is engaged in rescue ops in Himachal Pradesh. Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Sukhwinder Singh Sukhu said that the state has faced disaster resulting in a loss of 700 crore rupees. India is leading the world with 55% of organic producers. However, India holds just 1.4% share in the global organic markets. The latest numbers from a report by Srisi shows that domestic consumption of Indian organic products is on the rise, and that is well above the global average of 8%. This has helped the nation recalibrate its organic growth story. More in this report.
The 16th edition of the Biofact Trade Fair, which is India's top trade fair for organic, natural and millet industries, saw Commerce Secretary get a first-hand look at the exhibition and the stakeholders in the organic markets. He interacted with the state stalls, especially from the northeast, and listened to the topographical and certification problems faced by the players in the organic industry.
The export market, it is huge. It is about 140 billion US dollars. We can really realize this potential. Currently we are exporting about $500 million of our organic products. I think we should double this in the next 2 to 3 years. Raise it to at least $1 billion of our exports from the organic products.
India's global share in organic markets stand at $142 billion, but the consumption in the Indian FMCG market is now pegged at $167 billion US. The latest numbers from a CRISIL study, which was released on the Indian organic industry, was published in the Biofact Trade Fair.
Domestic market is this big, and it's expected to further grow at such a good CAGR. Growing to around 12,500 crores by 2033. So that's a tremendous growth. We are doing it above the global average, the growth that is estimated. So I think this is an eye-opener for everybody that not only at export level, at domestic level also the organic is blooming.
The growth journey in the domestic organic market at 17% is a big plus, but India needs to focus more on value-added and retail products. The role of corporate India could be the game changer in the organic products growth story for India, which is also the need of the hour.
Ask the corporates to spend the CSR funds, which is 2% of their turnover and profit, on organic and sustainable farming. This will actually ensure that the corporates are involved in the growth story of organic industry.
In 2023-24, India's organic food exports reach approximately $494.8 million US. In the next 8 years, India can put 20% under organic farming, with natural and organic farming leading the way. The government's initiatives to boost organic exports with NCOL, dedicated organic division, MRA implementation, trade fairs will help in a big way to help the organic industry's export potential jump to $8.9 billion US by 2032. Anil Thomas, DD India, New Delhi.
And now to all the updates from the ongoing Paris Olympics. Well, in the men's hockey, India versus Great Britain, the match is underway. The scores are levelled at 1-1 in the Paris Olympics quarterfinals after the second quarter. It was Captain Harmanpreet Singh who scored from the penalty corner, his 7th goal at Paris 2024. Britain's Lee Morton equalled after scoring a shot goal Also, India's Amit Rohidas was red carded for a stick on the face of Great Britain's William Calnan, which means India will have to play over 40 minutes of quarters with one less player. Lakshya Sen is on the cusp of history as he faces Danish superstar Victor Eriksen in the semi-finals of the men's singles badminton event at the Paris Olympics on Sunday. Lakshya is the first male shuttler from India to reach the semi-finals at the Summer Games. A win will see him advance to the final and play for gold, while a loss will see him enter the bronze medal match against the other losing semi-finalists. Only two Indian badminton players, PV Sindhu and Saina Nehwal, have won medals at the Olympics till date. My colleague Narayan Singh is joining us from Paris. Narayan, an exciting match going on there between India and Great Britain. Given the boost that the Indian got, after beating Australia, this is quite an excitement and the hopes are up.
Definitely, Amrit, the way the game has been started right now after the 2 quarters, the game is equal with 1-1 goal, but the worry for India is that Amit Rohidas got a red card and India will have to play with the 10 players in the remainder of the match. But the kind of hockey India displayed throughout the tournament, they lost one match against the Belgium, which is the best team in the world right now. But in that match also too, they gave a fantastic performance, scoring the first goal, and towards the end also they tried many times to score a goal, but couldn't. But after that, the kind of win they registered against Australia, defeated Australia for the first time in 52 years. So it shows that the Indian hockey is in right part, and if you take a look this match, India started on the right note. Harmanpreet Singh once again came to the rescue against the Britain team. But we are hoping that with 10 players also India can beat the Britain team. Last, if you take a look at the draw of the Tokyo Olympics hockey's quarter-final stage, it is same to that. In that tournament also, India faced Britain in the quarterfinals, and the other quarterfinal was between Belgium and Spain, where Belgium win. And other quarterfinal was between Germany and Argentina, and the fourth quarterfinal was between Australia and Netherlands. In the other quarterfinal, because Belgium defeated their opponent Spain, and they face India in the semi-finals. And the same is looking like to happen if India wins this match. Last time in the Tokyo Olympics, India defeated Britain by a margin of 3-1. But this time around, with one player down, we are hoping that despite of the 10 players, India will definitely go ahead in this match.
All right, let's see where this goes. But it surely is an exciting match. Narayan Singh, many thanks for joining us for the moment. And that's it then in this edition of DD India Live. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code you see on your screen right now to download. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Amritpal Singh from my entire team here in Delhi. Thank you for watching DD India Live.